Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Putri Nabila and my student ID is 33220045. Today I will be presenting about Sociolinguistic Project 2 for final test. And I will explain about four topics. There are female language feature, elocution, locution, and perlocution. Female language feature. Definition: female language features refers to specific linguistic characteristics commonly found in the speech of women, as identified in sociolinguistic and gender studies. Female language features are specific ways of speaking that are commonly observed in women's speech. These linguistic characteristics have been identified through sociolinguistic and gender studies, which examine how language varies according to social factors like gender. Essentially, these features highlight patterns or habits in women's language use that might differ from men's, reflecting social and cultural influences on how women communicate. Definition of major features of female language. Female language, whether spoken or written language, has its own unique characteristics. The following tries to describe the major feature of female language from this perspective: phonology, vocabulary, grammar, conversational and conversational topics and styles. Types of major features of female language. First is phonology. In phonology, features of women's language are mainly present in pronunciation, pitch, and tone. A. Pronunciation. Pronunciation provides the best evidence of gender-based language forms. In general, women's pronunciation tends to be more correct, more standard than men. Women are often articulate sounds more clearly and avoiding dropping sounds that men might omit. Studies shows that women's pronunciation is generally more careful and precise, which can reflect a desire to maintain social status and identify through language. And B. Pitch. High pitch is one of distinguished features of women's language, and women usually speak in higher pitch than men. Robin Lakoff asserted that women use a peculiar sentence intonation patterns which changes a declarative answer into a question. Women also frequently use rising intonation at the end of declarative sentences, which can make statements sound like questions. This rising pitch patterns is often interpreted as signaling politeness, tentativeness, or desire to confirmation. For example, when answering a question, a woman might say about 4:30 with rising tone to sound gentle or non-confrontational. C. Tone. Women's changeable tone can express their rich emotions and sounds more gentle and affectionate. They often use rising tone when answering men's questions. This speech style will make people feel at ease and comfortable. Tone in female speech tends to be more changeable and expressive, reflecting a wide range of emotion. Women often modulate their tone to sound gentle, affectionate, or polite. This tone variation helps women convey subtle emotion nuances, and maintaining social harmony in conversation. And the second is vocabulary intensifiers. Women are likely to use such intensifiers as so, much, quite, fastly, and etc. Key 1972. Women compared with men use more intensifiers to strengthen what they want to express. Some adverbs like awfully, pretty, terribly, fastly, nice, quiet, and so are more easily found in women. Women use a greater variety and higher frequency intensifiers to amplify their expressions, making their speech more emotionally charged or emphatic. For instance, women might say amazing or really great more often than men. Studies also reveal that female speakers tend to combine intensifiers with adjectives to exaggerate or highlight feeling. B. Adverbs and adjectives. The fondness of women for hyperbole will very often lead the fashion with regard to adverbs of intensity, and these are very often used with disregard of their proper meaning. Jasperon. Women like to use more hyperbole adjective. Researchers show us that adjectives like adorable, cute, divine, dreamy, gorgeous, heavenly, cool, great, lovely, terrified, wonderful, and so on are more frequently heard from women's mouths. Women tend to use more emotive and descriptive language, like words that convey warmth or admiration, to build connection and express feeling more vividly. And C. Expletive. Female is more careful and they avoid using crude words. These expressions such as oh dear, my goodness, goodness often appear in women's language to express their intensive feeling. And third, grammar, equation. Eighth equation, lack of purpose, that texts are used when a speaker is stating a claim but has less than full confidence in the truth of the claim. In some situations, then, a equation would be perfectly legitimate sentence forms. See purpose that women use one particular type of equation more than men. The questions are short questions added to the end of statements such as isn't it, don't you think, or right. Women frequently use the question to seek confirmation, invite agreement, or soften comments and assertion. And B. Hedges. Hedges are words that convey the sense that speaker is uncertain about what he or she is saying, or the accuracy of the statements such as kind of, sort of, you know, I think, I suppose, maybe, I guess. Hedges seem to appear more often in women's speech. The use of hedges and fillers can serve to express uncertainty, politeness, or tentativeness, helping women to maintain social harmony and avoid confrontation. And next is factors that shape the features of female language. First is social factors. Social roles and expectations strongly influence female language features. Women's language often reflects socialization into roles that prioritize politeness, indirectness, and relational harmony. Social roles and expectations play a significant role in shaping female language feature. From an early age, women are often socialized to prioritize politeness, indirectness, and maintaining harmonious relationship in their communication. As a result, women's speech tend to reflect these values through the use of softer expression, more polite forms, and strategies that avoid conflict or directness. And the second is culture factor factors, gender ideologies, stereotypes, and cultural expectations about femininity affect how women use language. For instance, in Western cultures, women language might be shaped by historical gender norms and femininity movement, which influence both the style and context of female speech. At the same time, feminist movements have challenged these norms, leading to shifts in how women express themselves linguistically, sometimes adopting more assertive or egalitarian speech styles. Thus, cultural context, including prevailing belief about femininity and gender roles, plays a crucial role in shaping the characteristic features of, of female language. And the last is psychological factors. Woman language often reflects emotional expressiveness and sensitivity. This is seen in their use of intensifiers, for example, so, very, or hedges, kind of, sort of, and the tag question, which can soften statements and indicate politeness or tentativeness. Women language often show greater emotional expressiveness and sensitivity, which can connect it to psychological and to psychological differences. This is reflected in their frequent use of language features. Conclusion: female language features are distinct linguistic characteristics commonly found in women's speech, as extensively studied in sociolinguistic and gender research. Women's use of these linguistic traits tend to emphasize politeness, tentativeness, emotional expressiveness, and relational harmony, which align with societal norms that expect women to be nurturing and cooperative communicators. And the second topic is locution. Definition of locution. Locution speech acts are speech acts to express something. This act is often referred to as the act of saying something. In the speech act, a series of language sounds are reproduced meaning something. Ibrahim, 1993. The locutionary act refers to the basic act of uttering a meaningful sentence, its literal dictionary meaning. For example, it's raining outside. The locution is the statement about the weather. Example 2, the door is unlocked. Locutionary meaning, a declarative statement describing the state of the door. And the third is elocution. Definition of elocution. Elocutionary acts are speech acts that contain intent and speech power. Elocutionary acts are not easily identified because elocutionary acts are related to who is speaking to whom, when and where the speech acts are performed, or etc. This elocutionary act is an essential part of understanding speech acts. Vienna et al. 2011. The act of elocution is called the act of doing something. The speaker's intent in saying those words and sentences, that is what the speaker intends to seek accomplished as a result of the words he speaks or writes. For example, the sentence "It's raining outside." The elocution could be a warning to take an umbrella or a suggestion to stay indoors. Example 2. The door is unlocked. Possible elocutionary phrases: warning, if the speaker fear a break-in. And the second is suggestion, if the listeners needs to enter the room. And the third is complaint, if the speaker expected the door to be locked. And the last is perlocution. Definition of perlocution: the act of perlocution is known as the act of affecting someone. The speech uttered by a speaker often has an effect or power influence. Perlocutionary force for those who listen to it. This effect of this effect or power of influence can occur because the speaker intentionally or unintentionally creates it. Speech acts whose utterances are intended to influence the interlocutor are called perlocution acts. Vienna et al. 2011. Perlocution is the consequent effect on the hearer which the speaker intends should follow from his utterance. For example, it's raining outside. Perlocution: the listener takes an umbrella or decides to stay home. Example 2. The door is unlocked. Possible perlocutionary effects: intended listener locks the door. Unintended listener ignores it or feel annoyed. This is the table of example locution, elocution, and perlocution. In locution, it's called here. Elocution: requesting to close the window or turn on heat. And perlocution: listener closes the window. And the second, can you pass the salt? For the locution. And elocution: requesting the salt. Perlocution: listener passes the salt. And the third, I'm really tired. For the locution. And elocution: hinting to end the conversation. Perlocution: listener says goodbye. And the fourth locution, you left the door open. Elocution: complaining or warning. Perlocution: listener closes the door. And the fifth, I promise to help you. For the locution. And elocution: making a promise. Perlocution: listener feels reassured. And the last, watch out. For the locution. Elocution: warning. Perlocution: listeners avoid danger. Conclusion: locution refers to the actual utterance itself, the words spoken and their literal meaning or semantic content. It is what is said in a sentence, including its phonetic, syntactic, and semantic features. Elocution is the speaker's intended function or purpose behind the utterance. It is what the speaker is doing in saying something, such as making a request, giving a comment, offering a promise, or asking a question. Perlocution concerns the effect or response that the utterance produces in the listener. It is what happens by saying something. Unlike elocution, perlocution depends on how the listener interprets and reacts to the speech act and may vary regardless of the speaker's intent. And this all for my presentation. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.